Pupienus, formerly known as Marcus Clodius Pupienus Maximus, was a short-lived but historically significant Roman emperor. He ruled during the tumultuous year 238 CE, a year marked by political instability and a period of civil war within the Roman Empire. Pupienus is primarily remembered for his brief and largely unsuccessful reign, his association with the Year of the Six Emperors, and his role in the larger context of the 3rd century crisis, a period of severe political, military, and economic turmoil. Pupienus was born sometime around 163 CE, though the exact details of his early life remain unclear. He was likely of equestrian rank and may have come from a provincial background, as his family does not seem to have been part of the Roman aristocracy. His rise to prominence in Roman politics, however, was marked by his military and administrative service. Pupienus held various important positions in the Roman government, including serving as a senator and consul. He was known for his military expertise and had a reputation for competence and strict discipline. Pupienus's political and military career was tied to his close association with the Roman elite, and he gained experience in various military campaigns, which would later be crucial during his time as emperor. Notably, he was not closely associated with any imperial family, which made his eventual rise to power particularly extraordinary, as emperors were often chosen from more prestigious lineages or as part of a broader political consensus. Pupienus became emperor in 238 CE, a year known as the Year of the Six Emperors, due to the rapid succession of rulers. This period epitomized the instability of the Roman Empire during the 3rd century, where multiple claimants often vied for power and imperial authority was in a constant state of flux. The immediate context for Pupienus's rise to the throne began with the death of the reigning emperor Maximinus Thrax, who was assassinated by his own soldiers. Maximinus had been an autocratic and unpopular ruler, and his death led to a power vacuum. Pupienus, along with his co-emperor Balbinus, was selected by the Roman Senate as a replacement. The Senate's decision was largely driven by the desire to restore senatorial authority and challenge the increasingly autocratic tendencies of previous emperors. Pupienus and Balbinus were declared co-emperors by the Senate on April 22, 238 CE. The Senate's decision to elevate both men was meant to balance their authority, but it was also a response to the widespread discontent with the autocracy of previous rulers, especially Maximinus. Unlike Maximinus, both men were relatively unknown to the wider public and lacked any strong military backing or hereditary claim to the throne. This made their reign precarious from the start, and the empire was still embroiled in conflict when they took power. Pupienus's co-emperorship with Balbinus was marked by conflict and tension, as the two men struggled to manage the empire amidst external threats and internal challenges. While the two men were initially chosen by the Senate, their relationship was not smooth. There was competition for authority between the two, and their co-rule was complicated by the fact that neither of them had strong military support. Balbinus was from a prominent senatorial family, and his political maneuvering was focused on garnering support from the Senate and the aristocracy. On the other hand, Pupienus, a more experienced military leader, sought to strengthen his position through the loyalty of the army. Despite these tensions, both emperors faced immediate threats from various factions. The empire was under siege by the forces of the Goths and other barbarian groups, particularly in the northern and eastern borders. In addition to the military threat, there was internal discontent from different parts of the empire. Both emperors sought to address these challenges but were unable to fully assert their authority in the face of so many problems. Pupienus and Balbinus's reign came to an abrupt and tragic end in July 238 CE. The Praetorian Guard, the elite soldiers tasked with guarding the emperor, turned against the two rulers. The reasons for the Praetorian Guard's revolt are not entirely clear, but it is believed that the soldiers were disillusioned with the emperor's leadership and possibly felt threatened by their lack of military experience and political savvy. Moreover, the emperor's attempts to raise funds for the military by imposing harsh taxes on the population may have further alienated the Guard. The Praetorian Guard, under the leadership of their commander, killed both Pupienus and Balbinus, ending their brief and troubled reign. Pupienus was reportedly executed after being dragged through the streets of Rome, and Balbinus was also killed by the soldiers. Their deaths marked the end of the Senate's brief experiment in co-imperial rule and left the throne open for the next claimant. The death of Pupienus was part of a larger pattern of political violence during the 3rd century, as military uprisings and palace coups were common in the Roman Empire. The instability of the period meant that emperors were often overthrown or killed before they could solidify their power. Pupienus's reign was particularly short, lasting only about 3 months, but his brief period in power had lasting implications for the political dynamics of the empire. Pupienus's reign is often remembered as part of the chaotic period known as the crisis of the 3rd century. This era was marked by frequent changes in leadership, barbarian invasions, economic instability, and the decline of central authority. Pupienus and his co-emperor Balbinus were unable to address these challenges, and their reigns were cut short by the Praetorian Guard's rebellion. Despite his short time in office, Pupienus represents the struggle for power between the Senate, the military, and other factions within the Roman state. In the broader scope of Roman history, Pupienus is often viewed as a relatively minor figure. His reign was overshadowed by the larger events of the period and by the rise of other emperors, such as Gordian III, who succeeded him after the death of Pupienus and Balbinus. However, Pupienus's brief co-emperorship with Balbinus serves as a reminder of the difficulties faced by the Roman Empire in the 3rd century, a time when military and political elites often contended for power in the absence of strong leadership. Pupienus's role in the history of the Roman Empire highlights the fragility of imperial authority and the difficulty of maintaining stability during times of crisis. His brief reign, though largely unsuccessful, is an important chapter in understanding the challenges that faced Rome during the 3rd century crisis and the constant shifting of power that characterized this chaotic period in Roman history.